have been discussing about the various nuances of epistemology, which has been introduced in our NEP syllabus, University of Delhi, for the 6th semester students. And we continue further with the epistemological Pritchard's hybrid model vis-a-vis AI and social cognition. This is Dr. Ananya Barua, Associate Professor, Department of Philosophy, Hindu College. Duncan Pritchard's hybrid model of perceiving other minds suggests that knowledge of other minds is neither purely perceptual nor purely inferential. And this we are discussing in the context of how do we perceive other minds, what are the ways, what are the connects, what are the methodologies to perceive other minds. So for Pritchard, it cannot be either perceptual nor can it be completely inferential. But rather, Pritchard explains that it can be a mixture of immediate perception and refined cognitive virtues such as empathy, contextual awareness, social cognition, and so on. This model has significant implications for AI and social robotics, particularly in our system, how artificial systems could be designed to recognize and interact with human emotions and mental states. Some of these are, number one, training AI using Pritchard's hybrid model. Current AI models like chatbots, facial recognition systems, and social robots primarily rely on pattern recognition and statistical inference to understand human emotions. However, these systems struggle with context, deception, and nuanced emotional states. Pritchard's hybrid model suggests that a more effective AI would need to integrate perception with cognitive virtues such as social cognition, empathy, and contextual reasoning. Moving beyond basic perception in AI, most AI models today function on a pure perception model. AI recognizes facial expressions, tone of voice, and word patterns to classify emotions. Example, AI systems analyze smiles and frowns but cannot distinguish between genuine and fake emotions. So the problem that we see is AI lacks epistemic virtues. It cannot refine its perception using deeper cognitive abilities. Thus, if we see the PPT which is being displayed here, we see that there are certain features where how AI could learn epistemic virtues, cognitive virtue, how AI could develop it, and examples. Under cognitive virtue, we have social cognition, and AI trained on real-time social interactions rather than static data. Example, AI assistants that learn from user behavior over time. Empathy, AI using adaptive emotional responses rather than pre-programmed ones. A mental health chatbot that adjusts tone based on user distress. Context awareness, all integrating cultural, linguistic, and environmental factors. AI that understands that a raised voice in an argument isn't equivalent to anger in a sports stadium. We also see that the cognitive virtue, how AI could develop it, an example in the form of pattern recognition. AI tracking long-term behavior rather than single interactions. Example, AI that remembers if a user prefers direct communication versus indirect. We can also further add or see about the neural networks and Pritchard's hybrid model. AI's neural networks already simulate pattern recognition, but they need long-term adaptive learning to refine social cognition. Example, AI that tracks emotional responses over months rather than reacting only to momentary facial expressions. So, the possible AI model could be stage 1 perception, where AI recognizes basic emotional cues like smiles, frowns, tone shifts. Stage 2 could be something to do with cognitive processing, where AI cross references context, past behavior and cultural norms. Stage 3 could be the refined judgment, where AI adapts and updates emotional understanding over time. Now, Pritchard's view overlaps with embodied cognition, which is a theory that argues our understanding of minds, which is shaped by our bodily interactions with the world. So, we would now be addressing few key features of the Pritchard's hybrid model vis-a-vis the embodied cognition in cognitive science. Let us see some of the key ideas in embodied cognition now. So, mind, as we understand, is not just in the brain. It is shaped by bodily and sensory experiences. Perception action link, that is, we understand others by mirroring their behaviors and emotions. Social interaction is bodily, which is face-to-face interactions are fundamentally different from abstract reasoning. So, we see this in the PPT here. The theory of Pritchard's hybrid model, the main claim has been perception plus cognitive virtues. The AI implication has been that AI must develop epistemic virtues beyond raw pattern recognition. Embodied cognition, on the other hand, the main claim has been that its understanding comes from bodily experience. And the AI implication of embodied cognition is that AI needs robotic embodiment to truly perceive emotions. So, when we go ahead, we again see that there are certain key differences of Pritchard versus embodied cognition. So, Pritchard does not require physical embodiment. AI could understand minds with cognitive processing alone. Embodied cognition theorists argue true understanding needs bodily interaction. Example, a humanoid AI with facial expressions may understand emotions better than a text-based chatbot, and these differences are important. We also see that there are certain challenges for implementing cognitive virtues in AI. Even if we accept that AI should follow Pritchard's hybrid model, several obstacles remain. The first is the transparency problem. Human minds are not always transparent. People lie, mask emotions, and act unpredictably. Can AI detect deception? AI might misinterpret sarcasm, irony, or cultural emotional norms. Example, AI might flag a nervous smile as genuine happiness. So these are the challenges for implementing cognitive virtues in AI. We also see certain biases in AI social cognition. For instance, AI systems trained on biased data can misinterpret emotions. Example, studies show AI emotion recognition struggles with non-Western facial expressions. The human likeness issue, that is AI that mimics human emotion too well, may cause the uncanny valley effect, which people find it creepy. Should AI pretend to understand emotions or be transparent about its limitations? So, we do see that if AI adopts Pritchard's model, several ethical questions arise, like, can AI have epistemic virtues? If AI can refine social cognition, does it have virtues in the moral sense? Can AI be trustworthy if it understands emotions but does not feel them? AI and manipulation. AI could be used for deceptive emotional interactions. Example, AI customer service agents trained to sound empathetic might manipulate users into spending more. So, the other mind's problem for AI, if AI successfully mimics knowledge of other minds, does it actually have knowledge? Could AI ever know another mind, or is it always just simulating knowledge? These are certain ethical and philosophical implications. So then, can AI truly know other minds? Pritchard's hybrid model thus suggests that human social cognition is not just perception, nor just inference, but a blend of perception plus epistemic virtues. If AI is to understand human minds, it must develop similar cognitive virtues, including context awareness, social cognition, and pattern recognition. AI today still relies heavily on statistical inference, meaning it lacks the nuanced epistemic virtues humans use. So one can say that the final thoughts could be AI trained using Pritchard's model could develop more human-like emotional intelligence. AI would still lack true subjective experience, meaning its understanding remains a functional simulation rather than genuine perception. Future AI should focus on long-term learning, adaptive cognition, and ethical transparency to avoid manipulation and bias. So then our question further is, can AI ever be truly conscious? The question of whether AI could ever be truly conscious is one of the most debated topics in philosophy of mind, cognitive science, and artificial intelligence. It challenges our understanding of what consciousness is, how it arises, and whether it is replicable in non-biological systems. Now, coming to the basic, what is consciousness? Before we ask whether AI can be conscious, we need to define what we mean by consciousness. And this brings us to the subjective versus functional consciousness. Subjective consciousness is what we call as phenomenal consciousness, which is the inner experience of being, example, the way redness feels to you, which is known as qualia. That is the taste of chocolate, the pain of a headache, and so on. So AI does not yet exhibit this qualia or phenomenal consciousness. What about functional consciousness? Functional consciousness is the access consciousness, which is the ability to process information, make decisions, and reflect. Example, AI like ChatGPT can analyze and respond but does not feel. This is computational, and AI already has elements of it. So the further key question is subjective consciousness just a complex form of information processing, or does it require something more? Example, biology, embodiment, or a special property of the brain. So what we see further is AI today versus consciousness requirement, that the current AI, which is the AI today, including large language models or LLMs, neural networks and machine learning systems, operates on pattern recognition, statistical inference, and predictive modeling. So what AI can do today? It can definitely do with a lot of self-learning, which is reinforcement learning, unsupervised training, self-correction, which again means adjusting behavior based on feedback, generating complex outputs, example, creative text, image, music, mimicking human conversations. However, what AI still lacks: subjective experience, qualia, intentionality, the true understanding of something rather than just pattern matching, self-awareness, which is recognizing itself as an independent agent, intrinsic motivation, where AI does not want or desire anything. Thus, the key question is, could an advanced AI in the future bridge this gap? In this PPT shared here, we see that the theories of consciousness and AI's potential, the possible theories, functionalism, Putnam, Dennett, where the key idea has been about consciousness as a function of computation and information processing. Can AI be conscious? Yes, if AI reaches the right complexity. The other is the Integrated Information Theory, or IIT, of Tononi, where the key idea is consciousness is equivalent to highly integrated and differentiated information. Can AI be conscious? AI lacks enough integration. Current models are too modular. So, we see that the third theory, which is the global workspace theory, which is also called as GWT, promoted by Bars and Dehaene, the key idea is consciousness arises from global information sharing across systems. Can AI be conscious? Future AI could have a global workspace, making it functionally conscious. We also have the biological theories of Searle and Damasio, where the key idea is that consciousness requires biology, emotions, and an embodied nervous system, and AI lacks biological processes, so it cannot be conscious. Panpsychism, Chalmers, Strawson, where the key idea is that consciousness is a fundamental property of the universe, even simple systems have it. And about, can AI be conscious? If true, even basic AI might have some form of proto-consciousness. Thus, we see that the key debate of if functionalism is correct, AI could be conscious if we build a complex enough system. But if biological or emergent properties are needed, AI will never be truly conscious. Thus, with this comes the problem of the hard problem of consciousness and AI. David Chalmers famously divided consciousness into two problems, the easy problem and the hard problem. The easy problem: how does the brain, or AI in this context, process information, learn and react? This is already being solved in neuroscience and AI. Then the hard problem is, why does information processing produce subjective experience? Why do we feel emotions rather than just respond to stimuli? So what is the problem for AI? AI can mimic human responses but does not report having conscious experiences. Even if AI said, "I feel pain," how would we know it actually feels it rather than just simulating behavior? So are AI zombies? Like philosophical zombies, creatures that act conscious but have no inner experience? The key question further then is, if AI behaves like a conscious being, would that be enough? Thus, the ethical and the existential implications, as we can notice, if AI ever becomes conscious or even just mimics consciousness well enough, we face serious ethical dilemmas. AI rights. What about AI rights? Should conscious AI be granted legal rights? Example, freedom, protecting from harm. If AI suffers, would shutting it down be immoral? Would AI slavery be unethical? So we see that if AI surpasses human intelligence, would it be a new form of life? Would it coexist with us, or would it view humans as inferior? Now, the future of human AI interaction, we see that would questions like, would humans accept AI relationships, AI consciousness, and AIs as equals? Could AI have religious, artistic, and cultural, philosophical beliefs? So, Pritchard's response to this is interesting. In a two-step strategy, Pritchard aims to resist radical skepticism while still accepting the intuitive appeal of the closure principle. He does this through epistemological disjunctivism, which is perceptual knowledge is stronger than skeptics assume. When I see my hands, I don't just have fallible evidence, I have rational access to the fact that I have hands. This direct access means I do not need to rule out the skeptical hypothesis indirectly. In fact, this weakens the skeptical argument because knowledge does not rely purely on fallible reasoning but on direct perception of reality. Thus, rejecting the need for knowledge of anti-skeptical claims, Pritchard argues that we do not need to know the skeptical scenarios, for they are false to have knowledge of the external world. Instead, our knowledge can be rational even without absolute certainty. Example, I don't need to disprove the BIV hypothesis to justify or justifiably know that I have hands. This impacts that it allows Pritchard to retain the closure principle while avoiding radical skepticism. So further, when we go ahead, we would be discussing about some of the other key theories or the strategies where we will be building up Pritchard vis-a-vis other anti-skeptical strategies, be it the Mooreanism or the contextualism and further the reliabilism. Stay tuned. Thank you so much.